Hey neighbor, we just got a good shower here. Good Lord blessed us with some rain, and you know we needed it. I mean, we needed it in a bad way. We got one yesterday. It's the first one we probably had in 3.5, 4 weeks. Our grass has done turned brown. Been irrigating like crazy. It's been hot. Man, it's been hot. So we had one of those springs, wet and cool. Then we turned off in June, one of the hottest Junes. I mean, we had 100-degree weather here the other day. Hot, dry June. Here we are starting July. We're getting some showers. I think things are turning around a little bit. Let's walk through the garden, see how everything's doing. I'll show you a couple of new things. All right, so whether you're familiar with this or not, this is a Roselle. This thunder is still out here a little bit. We're in the middle of the day. We're gonna try to sneak this video in. I think the rain's gone. Keep your fingers crossed. All right, so this is a seed crop of Roselle that we're planting for this year to harvest seeds come fall. Maybe have some extra for you guys next year. This is a variety called St. Kitts. This is a new variety right here for us. This one is not daylight sensitive. This matures out on days to maturity. So hopefully this is gonna be more forgiving for those early cool spells we have in the fall. A lot of people don't have enough time to make Roselle. It's a lot bigger calyx on it. So supposed to be a superior Roselle. We love Roselle. So if we can get this one, and this is what it's been represented to be, I think it's gonna be a game changer for us. The bushes are growing off really, really nice. And whether you know it or not, you can actually eat the leaves on these as well. But the calyx is what we're after. That's that red calyx that's around the seed pod when it puts all seed pods in the fall. So we got 2 plots of these because the seed's really, really scarce. Turkey Hill out of Tallahassee was kind enough to share a few seeds with us to get us started. They've been growing it for a couple of years. An intern from the University of Florida got these seeds somehow or another and shared with them. And they're really proud of it and tickled with it. She told me it's the way to go. So we're excited about that. Roselle, St. Kitts variety Roselle. Well, our Hickory King, our heirloom Hickory King is starting to dry out a little bit. I think we've made a pretty decent crop here. Man, I've had to keep this stuff ordered with drip tape because it was about 3.5 weeks here. It got 0 rain. But I kept it wet. It was 9 or 2. I watered all night long. Looks like we're gonna have a pretty decent crop there. We're in that stage now, we're gonna let it dry out. Got to get those stalks dried, got to get that corn dry before we harvest it. We want moisture levels, I think it's somewhere around 15%. So we gotta let, good Lord, dry it out there with some of this hot, dry weather, and we'll harvest that hopefully sometime in maybe late August, 1st September. Okay, so this was a plot of my sweet corn. I planted my sweet corn 15 days before my Hickory King to keep from cross-pollinating. So I had an early crop of sweet corn here. Everybody's always thinking, what I do with that plot of sweet corn I had? Well, a couple of tips here. Just as soon as you harvest that sweet corn, go out there and mow those stalks. They're a lot easier to mow and disintegrate when those stalks are nice and green. So get out there and mow it just as soon as you can. And this is what I've been doing for the last couple of years. I let this thing sit for about a month, let my stalks rot out, and I come here and I plant my fall field peas here. Last year I planted zippers, this year I'm planting top pick pica in here. So great rotation, put those peas behind that corn. You get to use some of that nutrients that your corn left over there. Drip tape's already down, we get to reuse it again here. Field peas do really good in the fall of the year. So that's a great plan. It's come behind your sweet corn or your field corn, but probably you'll have more time with your sweet corn with those field peas. All right, folks, blackberries. This is blackberries I planted last year. This is a sweetie pie variety here, which is a thornless blackberry here. Look here, these plants are 1 year old and I got a pretty dadgum good harvest already. Nice variety. I like it so far. Man, look at them down. I need to get here and pick them. Look at the size of that. And yeah, they are sweet. So that's a good sweetie pie variety. I got drip irrigation on. Hadn't watered a lot. These, once you get them established, these blackberries take a little care. Very little irrigation. They're real drought resistant. I don't do anything to them except try to prune them and try to keep them trellised up. As far as spraying, I just don't ever spray them. They're very resistant. If you got room here in the deep south, Blackberries is a good crop to have. All right, folks, normally by the 4th of July, our garden's pretty much washed up for our spring planting here. We're getting to what we call the top crop of our tomatoes. That one there's got some rod on there. So our tomatoes, we've had a heck of a crop. Good crop this year, but when we start getting toward the top, our leaves starting to get nasty, disease eats on us pretty good. We got all the tomatoes we need, but we're still getting tomatoes. We can eat those tomato sandwiches when we want them to give a few away. This water we're having is starting to bust a few of them, but you know, that's just the way it is. They're getting toward the end of their life. We still got some Hossinators doing pretty good. Let me get down here and show you. Man, just look at there. Look at there. Now that one's got a spot on it, but look at the size of that one right there. See if I can find us another one in here. Ooh, right here's one toward the top. This isn't a great old big one, but that's a nice size. Why don't you look at there? That one's split too. This water will split them. There we go. There's a good one right there. That's a keeper. That one there, we'll put it up on the table. It'll be ripe in a few days. All right, folks, Jambalaya Okra. I want you to look right there. Now, I skipped yesterday picking this Jambalaya Okra. I had something I had to go to town and do. This Jambalaya Okra will get away from you in a hurry. That right there is your ideal length to pick Jambalaya Okra. This one right here is getting just a little bit long. That's still a decent size there, but you don't really want it any longer than that. It starts getting tough. If you want to pick okra, Jambalaya is your variety. If you don't want to pick it every other day, don't plant Jambalaya. It is a high-performing variety, but it does not, it don't like to be ignored. You need to pick it every other day, or you're going to end up with some big pods. Look at there. That one's okay, but you don't want them any bigger than that. I got to get out here. I got to get out here and pick that okra. All right, folks, sometimes we have successes and failures. We have big wins, little wins. This right here is a big win for the year. Cantaloupes, Tasty Bite cantaloupes on the Lazy Garden Kit. I can't tell you how many cantaloupes I have harvested out of here, and I'm still putting on new crop. I have harvested at least 5 or 6 a day. I've given cantaloupes to everybody I would think ever might want a cantaloupe. They're sick of eating cantaloupes. 15 by 30 plot here, and man, we have made cantaloupes. I sprayed them with a fungicide the other day. We're gonna look at a watermelon patch in a little bit. It's gonna be the same way. We're trying to keep these vines healthy, keep them fertilized, and we're gonna put on another crop. And I hope to get some more prolonged harvest out of these melons this year because we're controlling the weeds. I mean, I got 1 or 2 weeds in there, but it ain't bad at all for as long as these things have been in the ground. All right, sweet potatoes are starting to run. I need to get out here after this rain and get my get some cultivation done there to keep my weeds down. But they're starting to run there. I've already side dressed them with some granular fertilizer. I may hit them with something in the drip there. But they're starting to run. Man, they love this hot weather. Another big win for us, been a little more challenging than the cantaloupes, is a watermelon patch. Took 2 Lazy Garden kits, put them together, so we got a 30 by 30 plot here, and we got the irrigation underneath there. Now, I have faced a good bit more disease here than I have with my cantaloupes. I had some gummy stem blight going on, but I've worked my way through most of it. I probably got 10 watermelons in here right now, maybe 15 that I need to harvest. Probably do that this afternoon. We have probably already harvested at least 50 watermelons out of here. So here's my strategy. Same thing with my cantaloupes. I'm gonna fertilize these things. I'm gonna keep them sprayed, keep them watered. I got new growth flushing out that looks really good. So we wanna re-energize these watermelons here, put on another crop. If I can keep good vines growing, I can set and grow another crop. Couple weeds out here, but not bad at all. We should be able to, if the weather don't turn bad on us, we should be able to get these things growing again and put on another crop. Probably not near as heavy as what our first crop was, but enough to sustain us on going into maybe July and August. All right, so this is Mama Hoss's potager garden. She's in charge of this. This is her garden. That's my garden up there. Her garden's laid out different because she gardens a little different than I do. Now, if she needs some help and asks me to do something, I do it. Otherwise, I stay out of here. I walk through here and look at it. And I give her some pointers. Sometimes she takes it, sometimes she don't, which is a good thing because I like to see things. Sometimes things happen that I'm wrong on, believe it or not. So I'm gonna show you this right here. I told her it was too late to plant green blaze bean. I said, it ain't gonna set fruit. Don't you look at there. She has kept these things watered now, don't get me wrong, but they've got a decent little fruit crop on it. She's gonna make a decent little crop of green blaze beans. Probably not as much as she'd planted them earlier, but hey, there again, I was wrong. Turmeric struggling a little bit. It's coming along there. She got a bed here she needs to flip. Oh, let's look down here at some of her squash. So she's got a little patch of some winter squash here, and it struggled the other day with some powdery mildew. Still got a little bit on there, and I sprayed it for her. Probably need to treat it again. But I want you to look here. She's got a spaghetti squash that's coming along right there. Now, the question always is, when do you know when to harvest that right there? Well, this plant will normally die back a little bit more, but that skin on that plant right there will get really hard. One that you can't even penetrate with your fingernail there. And that point, we normally harvest them. Take some clippers and clip them off there. That was not quite ready there. It's going to sit a few more days. Winter squash, or some people call them hard squash. And you can see, look at the powdery mildew on there. We don't have a lot of powdery mildew, but I did have some breakout on this right here. Now, I'm normally not a big fan of home remedies, but I will tell you this right here. On powdery mildew, you can take baking soda, mix it up in a slurry as a spray, and spray it on there, and that helps with powdery mildew. She likes to grow some unusual stuff. Of course, we've grown this a lot in the past, but look at the edamame. Man, these things are filled up. We love to eat these things as a snack right there. She planted a little small raised bed there, but look here, we've probably done eat 3 or 4 snackings off of them. They filled out really good there. Soybeans is a great one. Soybeans loves the heat, so for here in the South, if you want to grow something different, edamame, which is a soybean, by the way. Well, she wanted to plant her some tomatoes down here. I normally grow all the tomatoes, but she wanted to, so we had some plants, so she planted her a few. But what she did was use the Hossinator netting as a trellis, which I've never done before, but it actually has worked pretty good there. And let's see there. Yeah, she just kind of kept it weaved in there. Hey, it's doing pretty good. And she loves to grow her herbs and her flowers. She's got some toothache plant, companion planted with some zinnias, which is pretty cool because the zinnias get up and above and get out of the way of the toothache plant. The toothache plant's kind of like a ground cover there, so that works out really nice. The toothache plant has a purpose. You can use it for the toothache, chew up that leaf area and it'll numb your mouth up. But also, it's got a nice pretty bloom on it right there. And I believe that is a Queenie zinnia right there, if I'm not mistaken. I don't see any markers in there, but I'm almost positive that is a Queenie, one of the Queenie zinnias. All right, she's got her some fork hooks growing here, and they're putting on a pretty decent crop here, but I want to show you something's eating on them, and I want to show that to you. See this right here? See how that's just being tore up right there? See how they kind of leave a little bit? Well, that is a chewing wasp, paper cutter wasp, or some type of wasp that is chewing on that leaf there. But besides being a little ugly, it's not going to cause a lot of damage at the stage these are in. See there, that leaf cutter just cut them all up. But I'm not sure spraying would do much good with that. It's not a worm. So if it was a worm, we'd spray it and get at it. But it's a leaf cutter wasp or something like that that's chewing on those leaves, not causing a bunch of damage, so we're just kind of going to ignore that. I think she's going to make a good crop. Got a bunch of blooms on there, and she's setting a lot of fruit too. Fork hooks is a lima bean. It's one of those big lima beans. Some people call them butter beans. The correct terminology is lima bean. But here in the South, if you want to talk about these right here, you got to talk about butter beans. Most people call these just straight fork hooks. Look at there, it makes a big old bean in there. Something we've been growing for a long time. And they easy to shell, unlike those little small butter beans. Well, it's been kind of a challenging year so far, but you know what? I think they're all challenging in some way, form, or fashion. I probably find myself complaining about something every year. The fact of the matter is we got a pretty decent garden. We enjoy doing it. Every afternoon she's in her garden, I'm in my garden. We're just having a ball, relaxing, enjoying nature. An old man told me one time, he said, son, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And that holds a lot of truth.